The following is intended for mature audiences only. Discretion is advised.
What's up, besties? This is episode 7 of Childlike at Best with Mike Valdes, and I am still the second part of that title. If you were at SuperCon this past 4th of July weekend, it was so fun getting to do comedy for you guys. Thank you so much for coming out. It was an absolute blast. This episode is stand-up comedian, writer, and co-host of Late Night Whine, Sara Wren. She is so sweet and funny. We met a little while back doing a show together. We actually get into that story a little bit in the podcast as well. We have a really epic origin story, as she likes to say. I'm so honored and thankful to call her a friend. So without further ado, please enjoy Sara Wren.
Yeah.
It's just like a museum of wolves?
No. The guy's name is like Wolfson, like his last name. And
so it's a bunch of pictures of the guy?
That would be a pretty sick museum if it was just like some dude. He's like, this is my museum.
I mean, technically that's people's houses, right?
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
like, this is my museum. All the pictures are of me.
Well, I mean, that's the same concept of like having family photos. Like I always thought that was weird.
Kind of.
You like walk into someone's home and they're like, here's me next to like, you know, and here's me doing this and here's me on vacation. You're like, this is weird.
Let me enhance your life by showing you a picture of me in Hawaii.
Yeah. Or like, hey, I know I invited you over and you know what I look like, but look at these photos of me not here.
Yeah. That's fine.
It's always a weird concept. But no, it was an Art Deco museum.
Okay.
So all like furniture, antiques, like I love Art Deco. So it was just totally up my alley. Very niche museum.
You're like, whoa, that's a couch.
Mm-hmm. I was like, that is not a couch. That is the couch that I need in my house.
The only couch I want is the orange couch from Nickelodeon. But that's just me. You don't have to be me.
Do you remember a comfy couch?
Was that with the girl that was dressed like a rag doll?
She was a clown.
I thought she was dressed like a rag doll.
No, she had the red nose. She was a clown.
Maybe she was a clown. I don't know. I thought she was like a real life rag doll because the concept was that the couch was like 1,000 times bigger than her. You know, she was like a little toy.
Yeah.
That's what I always thought the concept was.
No, it was a comfy couch and she's a regular sized clown.
Oh, I thought it was I'm a toy and this is just a regular couch.
That would make more sense.
Yeah.
Okay, do you remember though when she would do the leg thing with the clock? Did you ever watch that?
I think so.
And she would like tell the time with her legs.
Oh my gosh. I totally remember this. This is amazing. Oh my gosh. All right, hang on. Let me do this intro because this is super fun. Okay. Hey guys, my name is Mike Valdes. Hang on, I got to do that again. That was wrong.
He's too excited.
Hey besties, what's up? This is Childlike at Best with Mike Valdes. Hey guys, guess what? I'm Mike Valdes. And today I have a very special guest with me, stand-up comedian, my fellow real-life bestie, Raggedy Ann enthusiast, Sara Wren.
Thank you. That is probably one of the best intros I've ever gotten.
I feel so bad for anyone who's ever introed you because that wasn't all that great. So the first thing I want to do is what we always like to do here at Childlike at Best, and that is we take a Flintstones vitamin before I ask you the first question. So if you can just take, it's not the chalk ones. They are the gummy vitamins.
It's childproof, so I always struggle with these. Yeah, you're going to have to do it.
Are you serious?
I can't open anything this child. Oh my God. He literally did it in like 2 seconds. And I was like sitting here struggling with it.
Listen, you're the first girl on this podcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you should be honored. And
not representing them very well.
No, you're not. That's exactly what I was going to say. Is I was like, now I know why I mostly have guys on here. I'm kidding. I'm completely kidding.
Looks like it's the little girl.
Pebbles.
Yeah. I got Pebbles. I just eat this or I swallow it? I guess you chew it because it's a gummy.
You can eat it. Yeah, absolutely. That's what it's for.
This is a weird way to start a podcast. Like, now listen to me chew for the next, like, half an hour.
You're welcome. So as you're taking that in and doing all that, can you please tell me about where you grew up?
So I grew up in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And it was in the suburbs, so not downtown. It was right by the lake, and it wasn't really the most, like, classiest, like, area. There's a lot of, like, poor families and sort of, very, very low-income housing.
Wow.
So
Canada's just like us.
Yeah. So I grew up there, and, I mean, you know what I look like, but when people see me, I'm mixed. So people are always, where are you from? Are you from Mexico? Are you native? Are you Colombian? Like, I get everything. So that people are often like really surprised when I say that I'm from Toronto, but born and raised. And yeah,
that's awesome.
Mm-hmm. I haven't left. I love Toronto.
Yeah. What were the kind of kids that you would hang out with at lunch? Like, what was your group of people? Who would you say?
At like what age?
Let's start from elementary school.
Okay. So I actually was so shy that I didn't talk to anyone.
Okay.
Which is funny because now I'm a stand-up comedian. But it was so debilitating that I honestly didn't talk to anyone other than my sister and my mother. And that was it. So the teachers thought that I was like a special needs student. Because they're like, we'll ask her questions and she just won't. Like, I was mute. I would not respond because I was so scared and so shy. And they were like, oh, we think maybe she needs to go into like special needs and she needs a little extra attention and all this stuff. And my mother's like, what are you talking about? She talks to her sister all the time. Mm-hmm. Like, what? No, she's not a special needs student. She's just really shy. Yeah. And that lasted for, I'd say, a couple of years until I met someone who's still my best friend actually today. And they were just as shy as I was. So we were like shy together. And then we helped each other like kind of come out of our shells.
So how does that work? Do you just like look at each other and nod?
Yeah.
And you're just like, yeah.
Yeah, we just be shy together.
Okay.
It's a perfect friendship when you think about it, like no fighting, nothing to be.
Well, you never know if you guys don't like each other or not because no one talks.
Yeah.
So it's great.
Oh yeah, there were some weird things. Like we would always read the same books, and we didn't talk, right? Yeah. So it was just by chance that we would like the same books. We wore the same clothing too, which was really weird. Like we shopped at the same areas and we liked the same sort of stuff. So it was just like passively we saw these things that we seemed to get along with in the line. Huh. And then obviously over time we were chatting more, and I mean I still talk to her to this day, so we're best friends, and we both love music. She's in music, and music was a huge part of my life. I played clarinet for 8 years. Okay. And I did like percussion and some other stuff, and I majored in music. Like it was like a big part of my life. And same with her. We both went to the same art school for music. So, there are all these passive interests and hobbies and things that connected us.
Who were the kind of artists or bands that you would listen to at that time?
When in elementary school, I guess NSYNC. I'm trying to think of what was popular back then. Spice Girls. Elementary, were they even around? I might be thinking later, like more middle school.
Yeah.
I always, like growing up, I always heard like Prince, Jamiroquai, James Brown, like that kind of music just in the house growing up. I know Daft Punk. Okay. I started liking Daft Punk, I think, when I was in grade 5 or 6. Like that was my first, oh my God, I love this band. This is my favorite band kind of moment, that you have.
Yeah.
Other than that, it was just, it was that song like Abadi Abada I'm Blue.
65?
Yeah, like you would just hear songs on the radio like Britney Spears or whatever, and you're like, oh, that's a cool song. But Daft Punk was the first band that I was like, this is my band and my music, and I had posters and everything. It
reminds me, we were having a conversation yesterday, I think. Was it yesterday? Maybe the day before. But you were saying that a lot of these like house music or techno bands before every song starts, they're always like, "May I have your attention, please?"
Yeah. May I have your attention, please?
The bass is about to drop.
Yeah, bass is about to drop.
Yeah.
And you were like, what? Really?
And then I thought about it and I realized that that's actually very true.
Yeah.
There's always some sort of, it might not be the exact words of like, "May I have your attention?" But it's always like, "Well, there was this guy and he was blue, so," you know?
Yeah, and like electronica, house kind of music. I'd say I easily over 50% of the songs have like an introduction where someone's talking.
Yeah. I mean, that or like an Eminem song, you know? Where he's like, "Look, if you had one chance."
Yeah. But what I loved is what you said. You're like, that's the only way they can get people to listen to the song.
Yeah, it's very true.
They have to like make an announcement. So
they can't sort of fire drill.
Yeah, they can't
you know?
start the beat. They have to just be like, "Oh, no one's gonna listen to this." So I'll be like, "What's that like annoying tapping noise?" Like for them to get into it.
It's probably the fire alarm.
Yeah.
You should probably pay attention. Yeah.
That's one thing I hate. I hate when they put alarms in music.
Yeah.
Like cop sirens or any kind of alarm.
Yeah.
I'm automatically like, "Oh, what's happening?" Or like, "Is there a fire in the building?" Like,
think you're in trouble.
yeah, my first reaction is like, I need to get out of here. So
the next thing is DJs are going to start sampling people's parents being like, "You're grounded," you know? Is that my mom?
Yeah.
Like,
or like it'll be like, yeah, like it has to be something common that everyone would, hear.
Yeah.
Like an elevator door or something, or like, I don't know, at the TTC it's like bung bung bung.
is it?
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Really? Wait, do you guys even have subways here?
We do.
Oh, okay.
But like Subways in what sense? Like the sandwich store?
No.
Eat fresh.
No, like
we have
like a
that.
subway train.
Yeah, a subway station. Yeah, absolutely. We have
Like
those.
one station or
Well, I mean, that's more of a thing in New York and like bigger cities. I don't know if it's a thing here in Miami.
everyone drives, right?
Yeah, and if there is a subway here in Miami, I don't know about it, nor would I ever want to be a part of it.
Why did you say, yeah, there's a subway, but you don't
Because
even know?
we have sandwich stores,
Oh my god.
which is enough because it tastes like a locomotive anyway. So there's that. When you went home, and we can talk about anything. It doesn't have to necessarily be elementary school, but just like, what are the things that you really remember really being obsessed with as far as like television or movies or anything like that?
I was obsessed with Dudley the Dragon.
Okay.
I don't know.
I have no idea what
that
that
might
is.
be a Canadian thing.
Sure, explain it.
He was like Barney. You know
Okay.
Barney?
I do know Barney.
It's like the same sort of thing. He was a green dragon, and for whatever reason, I thought Barney was creepy. So I did not like Barney growing up. But Dudley was less
right.
creepy. And now that I think about it, Dudley,
Barney is no. Now that I think about it, Barney is very creepy. He has a friend named Baby Bop who has another friend named BJ.
yeah.
Like what?
I just didn't like how handsy Barney was, like on the show. you
Barney
know?
wasn't. Was he handsy?
For a dinosaur? He was.
Yeah, he was pretty handsy for a dinosaur, I guess. Yeah.
I'm Barney.
Yeah.
I just did not like him.
That's really
whatever
funny.
vibes Barney was giving off. Little Sarah was not buying into it. Yeah, but there was Dudley, which I'm really curious to like look him up now, and because I barely. That's like a distant memory. What are you laughing at?
I'm just laughing at something stupid. It's not even that big of a deal. But yeah, so you're Dudley the Dragon.
Yeah, I'd like race home to watch Dudley the Dragon.
I don't know why I'm laughing. You know why I'm laughing? I'm laughing because I made up this stupid rumor when I was a kid that because everyone was like Barney's super creepy or something, and I was like, yeah, I heard that the guy in the suit, he wears the suit backwards. That's why he has such a long tail.
Oh my god!
And he just walks around backwards.
Oh
like,
my God.
and that's like this rumor that I made up. So I'm just laughing at how dumb I was, and also at how dumb people were for believing me. But anyway,
I mean, at that age, right?
I was like 23.
Oh. Well.
But yeah. Anyway, so Dudley the Dragon, what did he do?
Yeah.
He flew over all the kids, and then he was like,
I'm Dudley. I don't know. Yeah,
I'm Dudley. Instead of setting your house on fire, let's sing songs about cleaning.
I honestly I can't remember much about him, but that's my earliest memory I have of being like obsessed with a TV show and a character. I remember they came out. There was an ad with a Dudley the Dragon that you could take in the bathtub, like he was like plastic and waterproof. I was like, oh my God, because I always took baths, and I'm like, of course I want Dudley the Dragon.
Wait a minute, you always took baths?
Yes, I
no way.
I'm like this. I feel like I've been 50 my whole life, you know. Like I take baths.
I'm just making fun of you because like
that's what kids do. They take baths.
Exactly. Well, I'm also just making fun of the fact that like, of course you took a bath. Like, duh. You know?
Yeah. And so like, you know, the toys that you would have in the tub.
Yeah.
And I wanted the Dudley the Dragon so that I could play with him in the tub. And then my parents got me a Dudley the Dragon, but it was just like a stuffed plush animal. I'm like, I can't take this into the tub. And I was so upset. And they didn't understand that it had to be the water resistant. Like, they're like, but this one's nicer. Like, I don't get it. I'm like, but I can't take it into the tub, can it? It's fur. Like, it's going to get all wet and like a sponge.
Now that I think about it, whenever I would take baths, man, I would throw so many toys in there. Like, I would put like half of the bubble bath stuff, like, so bubbles are just going everywhere. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to have Hulk Hogan go in there. Ultimate Warrior's going to go in there.
Yeah, you just toss your toys.
And Luke Skywalker's going to have a fight. And then like all these different things. And then you jump in and then it hurts so bad. Because you're sitting on plastic toys.
Yeah. Oh my God, I remember doing that too.
That hurts so bad. I still remember it. Like,
yeah, these little arms jabbing like up into your legs and like your butt.
Like there's a lightsaber up your butt.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh my gosh.
That's not how I was gonna play.
Yeah, that's not how I was
Luke
gonna play.
Skywalker.
Yeah. It's yeah. And then there comes a time, at least in every boy's life when he's playing Star Wars, in the bathtub, he realizes that he doesn't have Darth Vader, and then he turns 11 and he's like, oh, I have my own Darth Vader. So and then
my God.
You end up spending more time with him than anyone else. But yeah.
Oh my God.
So there's that.
I had a whole it was like just a big bucket of animals, and I would dump that in the tub.
Oh
so
my
same
gosh,
thing,
that was
plastic,
the best
yeah,
stuff,
just plastic animals
and
stabbing me.
And it's funny because like you would like imagine the story that you're gonna create in the tub the whole time, and you're like, oh man, this is gonna be great, man. Like you're like, dude, Luke Skywalker's gonna fight Hulk Hogan, and then he's gonna fly off the freaking turnbuckle and like hit one of the Ninja Turtles, and then you just lay down and it hurts so bad. I remember that for sure. That's real bad. Yeah. So let's go a few more years older. Then what else other than like Dudley?
Oh, Powerpuff Girls.
Sure, that was great.
I was obsessed with them.
Yeah.
I loved it. Loved everything about them. Totally bought into everything. They had these magazines, like Powerpuff Girl magazines.
Did they really?
Comics too.
I know they had comics. Yeah.
They had the comics and the magazines. I was really into that. And they would go into in-depth details with, you know, like Mojo Jojo.
Yeah,
and,
I love Mojo Jojo.
And Miss Cerebellum. Was it Miss Cerebellum that was the mayor's assistant?
I think it's Cerebrellis. That's
well, it was the brain because she was intelligent and the mayor was like a dumb ass.
Yeah.
It was something to do with the brain was her name, and she was just like her tits and like her body. I don't know if you remember. They never showed her face. It was just
really
neck down. Yeah, neck down. They had all these like adult jokes in Powerpuff Girls that I watched for a long time because as I got older, I realized there were so many things for me as I grew up, and it wasn't just like a kids show about powerful little girls saving the day.
Yeah, I never got past that. So, like, I just mostly thought that was what the show was. And I enjoyed it for that. I love that. Did you watch more Cartoon Network stuff when you were a kid than anything else?
Trying to think what I was really into. I always, growing up, I was obsessed with reading.
Yeah.
Like books and comics, loved it. I never really got into TV shows. Or like Pokemon, I never really got into the show. Like I would play the card game and read up. Like I just loved anything I could read stuff on. I was super into video games.
Okay.
Like I loved Bomberman.
Okay.
Love Bomberman. And all these like, kind of old arcade games and things. So I was much more a video game, comic book person than I think I was cartoons and TV growing up.
So did you like go to the arcades a lot, or did you like that stuff? Or
I do, and I still do as an adult.
Yeah.
But growing up, I don't think there really was that. Like in Toronto, there wasn't like an arcade that you could just easily go to.
Yeah.
They sort of disappeared. At least my parents would never took me to an arcade or anything. There was like Chuck E. Cheese. Do you guys have Chuck E. Cheese?
We do.
Yeah.
25-cent fun.
Is it American or is it?
It's American.
Okay.
It's super weird, but it's fun. Yeah. I mean, their pizza is awful.
Mm-hmm. Everything is awful there.
Yeah. Their games used to be cool when you were 6.
It smells so bad. Every Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah. It smells like pizza and feet. That's what it smells
and the
like.
Coins smell disgusting, like everything. I remember being like washing my hands after playing there. I'm like, my hands still smell like the coins. Like days later.
That's gross.
I'm trying to like scrub it off my hands.
That's real bad, for sure. There was a time when I was younger when Chuck E. Cheese was the bomb, but not anymore.
It's just dirt. Like it's you know
dirty.
what it feels like? In McDonald's, you know how they have those ball pits in like the playground that's attached to McDonald's? And it's like those are nasty. It feels like the entire place is a McDonald's like playground.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, and not only that, but I also feel like when we were kids, the generation before us was the kind of people that would be like, hey, let's clean everything up and things like that. And then our generation, who's probably working at Chuck E. Cheese now, is like, nah. There's like not enough time. There's so many other things that we could be doing, and our attention is like grabbed in so many different ways. Exactly. So yeah. Do you remember any commercials or like how weird food and product placement was when we were kids at all?
Yeah.
What sticks out in your mind?
I was obsessed with Baby Bell, like the cheese. I know it's not like candy or anything, but how they advertised it and the shape of it, and they always had it really low and it was always by the counter before you leave stores and things. Like Baby Bell was something I was obsessed with. I'm trying to think of like candy though. Pop Rocks loved Pop Rocks. There was a corner store, and anytime I found spare change, which this is something I think doesn't exist anymore. So when I was little, I could go to a convenience store and buy like a pack of Nerds, those lollipops that are apple and caramel, fruit roll up, or that gum that's like rolled up.
Bubble tape.
Bubble tape, and it would be $1.
Yeah.
I don't think you can do that anymore.
No.
I don't think there's any.
It's $38 now.
Yeah, like I don't think there's. I don't know. I guess Dentine gum is like $1.50, but I remember getting multiple items that now each cost at least $1 each.
Yeah,
and I could get 10-cent lollipops. I would get those pixie sticks. They were 5 cents. You know, like I don't think you can. That doesn't exist anymore.
Not only that, like I don't think it's a thing for kids to be able to go up to ice cream trucks and haggle the ice cream guy.
Yeah,
you know, to be like, hey, I only have $1.50, and I definitely need those like weird Ninja Turtle pops where the eyes are all weird.
And they're like, well, that's $3. And you're like, well.
Well, I only have $1.50, and I want that, a Nerds rope, and 2 candy cigarettes. So you're gonna have to figure something out. Yeah, Rolando or whatever your name is.
That's so true. Yeah, I would come into the convenience store and I'd be like, okay, I have $1.50. What can I get with that?
Yeah,
and then you would put your items up, and you'd be like, okay, fine, you can get that, and that.
Yeah, exactly. Just to go into our next segment, were you into cereal at all?
I think I liked Fruit Loops, kind of.
Okay.
I was boring.
That's fine.
I like puffed oats, like not even a cereal, but just puffed. I would go to like the Whole Food store or something, or like we have something called Bulk Barn in Canada.
Okay.
And that's where you can get everything in bulk, kind of like seeds, lentils, grains, things like that.
Yeah.
And I would go and just get puffed oats, sprinkle like a tiny bit of sugar and like some milk, and
there you go.
yeah.
Holy cow.
I told you I was like a 50-year-old in
That's
a
totally
tiny
fine.
like Asian body.
Well,
I'm gonna be one of those weird Asian ladies when I grow up, like 100%.
do you ever remember like those cereal commercials and how they would treat the cereal like they were a drug?
Well, there was like Trix, the bunny.
Yeah.
Honeycomb. I
They
remember
never-
ads for Honeycomb.
The
But I
Trix
never wanted
rabbit, the Trix rabbit never got the tricks. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, you're right. They did act like that, but for whatever reason, I didn't buy into it.
I bought into all of it. So here's our next segment that we like to do is we like to review cereal. And every episode I like to pick a specific cereal for my guest because it has to do with that person in some way, shape, or form. So I spoke to my sponsors over at Funko. And by sponsor, I mean I like them and I buy their products. And by spoke to, I mean I tweeted them repeatedly and they didn't get back to me. What I chose for you, Sara Wren.
Oh boy, I'm very excited.
I'm giving you Funko brand Wonder Woman cereal.
Aw, that is perfect for me. Multi-grain cereal,
Yeah.
which is blue.
Dabba-dee-dabba-die. Call back.
Yeah, good callback.
It includes the Wonder Woman pop inside.
It's inside the cereal?
It's inside.
Like you have to dig.
No, you
through
don't have
the
to dig
cereal?
through it. It's on the bottom.
Oh, it's on the bottom?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
you do have to dig through it to get to it.
There's separate plastic bags in the box,
But
Sarah.
she's still buried.
It's
you-
gonna be okay.
I'm like freaking out about this. Do you remember when they used to have CDs in cereal?
Yeah. I hope my mom actually remembers when they would put records inside of cereal.
No way.
Yeah, that's how they got the 45 for sugar. Oh, honey, honey, you're my candy girl, and you got me wanting you. That was inside of like a freaking Fruit Loops box or something.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So, anyway, the reason why I got Wonder Woman cereal for you is because
I'm a Wonder Woman.
because honestly, it's just a wonder why you're still doing this. And no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, actually, the reason why I chose this is because I feel like you are a warrior in a lot of ways. And I feel like despite like whatever it is that people say or do, you will always fight for what the right thing is. So that's the reason why I chose this for you.
That's so sweet. It also sounds like a really roundabout way to be like, people don't like your personality, Sarah.
Yeah, there's that.
Aw, I'm not going to downplay it. That was really nice.
I didn't bring my Reptar cereal bowl, so sorry, ASMR nerds. I won't be able to put it inside of the bowl, but you can just go back to one of the other episodes and you can loop one of those audio things and make it your ringtone or whatever the weird thing is that you do.
Have you heard the Kit Kat
No.
ASMR ad?
What the heck is that?
It's the worst. So
Is it
I have
Bake me off a
spotted.
piece.
I understand why people are into that, but I don't find it relaxing, or I'm not really. It's not my jam. But I have Spotify, but I'm so cheap that I don't pay for the premium, so I get the ads. So I'll listen to
There's
music.
an ASMR thing as an ad?
Yes, it's so annoying. So I'm
What?
listening to my music, and then the ad comes on, and it's like. Listen to everything. And they start whispering. It's like a whisper thing, and it goes in each ear of the headphone, and it's like, you deserve a break. And they like just say, they're like whispering. It's creepy because they're whispering, and I just immediately, I haven't even heard the whole ad. I just hit mute on my laptop because it creeps me out.
That's so weird.
I'm pretty sure it's a Kit Kat bar ad that's ASMR. Yeah.
That's very weird.
It's super weird, and it bothers me a lot.
Okay, so to get through this bit, Here's what we're going to do. I want you to have some of this cereal and review it for me. However, it would be fun. Calm down. It would be fun for you to eat this cereal and review it. However, what would be more fun is for you to eat this cereal and review it as Wonder Woman.
Oh my God.
Whenever you're ready, I would like for you to review this as Wonder Woman.
Oh my God, it's terrible.
Here we go, Spotify.
Yeah, this is like the Spotify ad.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what Spotify is because I'm Wonder Woman.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't even know what to say. There's this giant mutant piece.
It looks like a huge teddy bear.
Yeah. It's like 5 pieces melted into, it's like crumbly too. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to eat this one.
You don't have to.
Okay, let me get back into my character. I don't even know what to say. It tastes like Fruit Loops though.
Okay.
Which is, I liked Fruit Loops growing up.
You did?
Yeah.
As Wonder Woman?
Yeah.
You liked them back in 1492 or whenever you were born?
Yeah.
Columbus discovered America. Wonder Woman was here eating Fruit Loops.
Yeah. It's like a berry,
mm-hmm.
but it's not a berry.
Okay. Would you say it's berry good, berry bad? What would you say?
Oh my God. Very bad.
Very bad?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Wonder Woman, ladies and gentlemen. That was great.
I am terrible at impressions.
That's okay.
I'm like, this is bad, but I keep eating it.
Yeah. That's cereal. Majority of it isn't that great, but we just keep eating it.
If I was a kid, though, I think I would love this. Like, if I was a little kid and, into comics and everything, and I saw the Wonder Woman movie,
mm-hmm.
like, I totally would be into this.
You'd even wait for, like, when you had blue poop, and you'd be like, yes,
mm-hmm.
This is awesome. I have Wonder Woman poop, you know?
Do you remember when they changed Heinz ketchup and they tried different colors?
Yeah, and
instead
they made
of
it green.
Red. Yeah, they had green and blue ketchup.
It's the worst.
Everyone's like, no. Why?
Everyone except my sister. My sister still writes letters to Heinz.
No way.
I'm like, I mean, they're probably never going to read them. They do emails, and she's like, no, I need to write letters.
She writes them letters?
No, she doesn't write them letters. But even still, it's crazy. She's like, I love that green ketchup. It's disgusting. Why would you ever?
I mean, it tastes the same, right?
It's 100% the same thing.
Yeah, so why would you like it?
It's just like the idea of it makes it gross.
So she likes it because it's gross?
No, she likes it because it's green. That's it. Which is really weird.
Mm-hmm. You know what I didn't get and I always thought was very, very sexual was how obsessed Nickelodeon was with sliming people and like putting slime, like just making people wet all the time. Mm-hmm. That was another thing as a kid. I'm like, I don't know if I'm into this. I'm like, why do they always want to slime people?
There was this thing, I don't know if you remember this, probably not. I don't know if it ever hit Canada, but there was this PBS show. I want to say it was Zoom or something. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was a Christian channel thing, but I don't remember what it was. I just remember it was a lot of kids, and the whole thing was that they were going to a water park in the episode, and they were singing, and the song is so awkward. It's this song called Water, Water, Water. The lyrics are like, water, 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 we're gonna get wet. Those are the lyrics. So it's like, water, 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 we're gonna get wet. Like, it is the most awkward song. And it is just like all these kids in slow motion going down these water slides and like slowly rubbing their own nipples. Like, it's so weird.
No.
It's the weirdest thing.
Oh, that kind of stuff bothers me. Like,
I know.
Oh, it creeps me out.
Yeah, it's real weird.
Because children in the entertainment industry, they're put in some really weird situations.
Yeah.
And like some very adult situations. And you wouldn't think even for like commercials or like quick little things, but the way kids are treated in entertainment, it just makes the whole thing even creepier.
Yeah.
So like filming that and stuff, and they're probably like, oh, wear this and do this, and I don't know. I
Speaking-
know it's not sexual, but just I don't know. Let kids be kids.
Speaking of being kids, did you ever watch movies? Because I feel like when we were kids, there was always this genre of movie where it was about a kid and an animal.
What do you mean?
Like Dunstan Checks In or Free Willy. Like, it's always about a kid and an animal. Like, the animal's the
that's
star of the
true.
movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
And they would always have, like, their friend is a sea lion.
Yeah.
And, like, they would have to save the sea lion or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Did you have a favorite of those?
Oh, I liked Wishbone.
Yeah, Wishbone was great.
I really liked Wishbone, but that was more of like a Sherlock Holmes kind of, like the dog wasn't ever in danger, really.
No, the dog was just telling the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would. If you've never seen Wishbone, listener, Wishbone was. Calm down. So, I talk to my listeners. So, Wishbone was this little dog who he would tell a story, and he would be like the narrator of the story, but he was also a character in the story, right? But nothing could ever happen to him because he was the narrator at the same time.
Yeah.
And he was also a dog. He would tell stories that were like about Shakespearean times. He would tell stories where he was Sherlock Holmes.
Mm-hmm.
He would tell all kinds of stories. It was kind of fun. It was a good one, for sure.
I loved Tales of the Crypt. Was
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
I loved that. Goosebumps.
It wasn't a kid's show, but sure.
Loved
Goosebumps
that.
was.
All of that stuff.
Yeah.
I loved.
You liked so can I tell you the which you would know this because the show was filmed in Canada. The scariest show ever when I was a kid was Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't even because of the show, it was because of the theme song.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it was just
So
that.
yeah, I would hear it and I was like, oh.
And then just like a swinging by itself and a little kid laughing.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of my house forever. Like, why are you? Why is the demon spirit here?
Yeah.
It was awful.
I loved it. Yeah. I feel like this gives a lot of insight into why I do like dark comedy.
Yeah. Speaking of comedy, I want to kind of move into that because that's what you do and all that kind of stuff. Even though, let me move back a little bit because you stated something, and it's something that I didn't really know about you, at least not in depth about you, but you majored in music.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What was the end goal? Like, did you want to be in the symphony?
No, I've always had appreciation for music, and I loved the music theory, so learning about the Baroque era and like classical music. I've just always loved music, but I never had I wasn't going to pursue it. Like it was just something that I felt was important and something that I thought was good for me, and I enjoyed it immensely. But I never, and I did play in orchestras and concert bands and everything, but there was no end goal with it. I knew it was going to end. And actually, I also knew that since I was 14, that I had to get double jaw surgery, and I played clarinet. So I'm like, after I get the surgery, I'm going to have to start all over again to build that embouchure up in the muscle and like just everything all over again. So I knew when I finished school, I wasn't going to I'd have the surgery, and I wouldn't be able to pursue it anyways.
Yeah, that's crazy. When would you say you started, not necessarily that you started comedy, but you were like, maybe I should try this. Like who inspired you, or what inspired you, you know?
So I always feel kind of like I can't relate to a lot of comics that I talk to when this comes up, because a lot of them say, oh, I always wanted to do this. I knew I always wanted to do this. And they have all of these comedians that they've watched throughout the years. I've only been doing stand-up now for a year and a half. And it literally was just, I was searching for something that would motivate me, make me feel excited, something I could be passionate about. I pursued so many different things in life, and none of it really, I didn't feel any ambition. And then I was looking into public speaking and keynotes and things like that. I did a lot of presentations in the past. So I was like, I don't know, I like public speaking. Yeah. Maybe this finally will be something I like. And then naturally I just started writing jokes, and I never thought of myself as being really funny. Now that I think of it, I was the funny one, you know, like out of my friends and at parties and stuff. Yeah. But I just didn't perceive myself that way.
Sure.
And I went and I did an open mic, and I had 5 minutes prepared, and I did it, and it felt awesome, and I was hooked ever since. And it's the hardest, most challenging thing I have ever had to do, which is so satisfying. You know, like I have no idea what I'm doing. Everything is new. Everything is extremely difficult. Yeah. And it drives me. Now I'm so much happier, and I have so much more excitement like in my life pursuing this. So yeah. I found comedy was what I was looking for.
That's awesome. I definitely relate to you in a lot of that, because comedy wasn't my end goal. Mm-hmm. It wasn't even a goal, you know? It was just something where I saw it and I loved it, and I have loved it for years. But it's something that when I was out in LA a few years ago, my manager at the time was like, you should take improv classes. And mm-hmm. I just couldn't afford to take improv classes. So I decided to do stand-up. And I was like, well, it's kind of like improv because I'm improving up there and, you know, whatever, even though it's not improv at all.
No, yeah.
You know, it is what it is, you know, and I didn't know the difference when I was doing it anyway. And then it's just something that I fell in love with. It was never something where I was like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this with 3 Netflix specials and 4 Grammy nominations. I have no desire. Like trust me, I am getting to a point where I want people to see my comedy, and I want people to see me, and it would be nice to have a special or whatever, but if I'd never had that, it wouldn't hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just something where it's something I do. I'm glad people like it. I'm glad people care enough to keep watching me do it, but it's not necessarily my end goal. Mm-hmm. I see performing as a 20-sided die. And I feel like, especially now, you kind of need to be good at a little bit of everything for somebody to give you their full attention.
Yeah. It's such a saturated market, mm-hmm. and there's so many people that are being connected because of the internet and just how fast things are progressing.
Of course.
That if you just do stand-up, there's little to no chance that you're going to survive.
Yeah. Unless you're amazing.
But even then, like, there's tons of people who are amazing, and you're competing against them, and how are they going to find you? And yeah, I think you really need to spread kind of your seeds everywhere and try to be multi-talented, which I have no interest in a lot of things. Like, I have no interest in acting or being on TV, but I would love to get into writing, like in a writer's room, sit and work on a sitcom or something like that, behind the scenes. So that's what I'm doing more of, is stand-up and writing. That's basically what I'm pursuing.
Yeah, absolutely.
But same thing. Yeah, I never was like, oh, I always wanted to do stand-up. Oh, I'm always going to, you know, I loved it and admired it, but I never in a million years, if someone told me even 2-3 years ago that I would be doing stand-up now, like full time, I would be like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's definitely a fun ride for sure. It's something where, like, when the community is good to you, it's a nice place to be, you know, because it's a lot of fellow brethren, you know, and things like that. But sometimes it's kind of difficult because it is a very dark business as well.
Yeah,
so
it really is.
And sometimes it's really hard being the light in the darkness, you know, or trying to be the light in the darkness. Do you have any funny stories that you're willing to share of like weird open mic nights or something?
Oh, sure. I'm very blessed in Toronto where even open mics tend to have really good audiences. Yeah. Like, it's an amazing comedy city, and you can get up like 3 times in one night and they're all good shows. Like, you can write a joke and run through it in a week and know if it's going to work at a club or, you know, at like a bigger venue. Let me think of some funny ones. Oh, it was my own show that I was producing. And I did it just like at a bar. And it was a good turnout. And I was excited for the lineup. But right before we started, there was this guy that just got hammered at the bar. I don't know what was going on. So by the time the show started, he was smashed. And he got offended by like one of my jokes when I was opening up the show. So him and I got into it because I was trying to roast him so that he would shut up, you know, because I was fine with him talking back at me and whatever. I just wanted him to be quiet for the rest of the comics and just be respectful. Like everyone that I put on the lineup, I admire and respect. And I don't want some drunk person heckling them or, you know, yelling at them. And he actually like stood up and it looked like he was going to like punch me in the face.
Wow.
He was getting like, he was all posturing and getting all like in my face and everything. And I'm like, sir, you know, I said, I'm like, you know that these are jokes, right? You know, like calm down. I realized I was, you know, when you kind of like roast people, they get upset, but they're in the distance, right?
Yeah.
Whereas at a bar, when they can come right up to you, there's no stage or anything.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was the only time where I thought I might actually get into a fight. And when I first started comedy, this was the first show I was booked on. So it wasn't an open mic, but this was the first show I ever was booked on. And a comic said something that offended someone. The woman rushed the stage, ran up like an audience member, and was trying to like punch and kick him.
Wow.
And they obviously had no security. It was, again, another random bar or lounge. And so all the comics had to like pull her off of the comedian. And I remember thinking, oh my God, I'm not invulnerable. You know, like when I'm on stage saying these things that could offend people, someone could throw something at me. Someone could rush the stage and like try to attack. Even afterwards, you know, people come up to me afterwards. So that was like a big eye opening. Those two experiences were like, oh, maybe I should be a bit more careful about what I say. But then at the same time, you're ruining your art. So
yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean.
But it can get intense.
So let me tell you, I don't think I've told this story on the podcast yet. This was a real long time ago. I can't remember exactly when it was. But I was doing an open mic. I was going to sing a couple of songs. And there was a guy that went on before me. And I'll never forget his name because his name was Tom Clancy. And
that's great.
You just remember that all the time. So he came up and he had one of those like old voice message machines. He brought one up and he hooked it up to like an amplifier, and then he hooked up a guitar, an electric guitar, and it was just him, the guitar, and the voice message machine. And he started, this place is full. It's a full coffee shop. You can hear a pin drop. Everyone's like waiting for him. Very respectful crowd. And he presses the button to start the voice memo machine. And it goes, you have one new message. And then everyone's like, yeah, you know, like whatever. Like they think it's going to like be a part of the show. And this message starts to play. And it's the message of his girlfriend breaking up with him. And he starts playing guitar over it.
Oh, no.
So he starts playing guitar over it. And then I don't remember much of what she said, but it was a long enough one where it was long enough for everyone in the room to look at one another and be like, do you see what's happening right now? And the music started building and building and building until it got to a point where she was like, I just don't think we can do this anymore. And then it just goes, king, 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 you know, like it beeps. And then he plays like the open G chord, and he's just like, Jennifer, why did you leave me? And he just starts crying into this microphone while he's playing this song. And I can't even tell you how hard I was laughing. It was the freaking funniest thing I had ever seen in my life. It was like one of those... Because it's like those like don't laugh in church things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're
where
not supposed to.
You're like, you're not supposed to laugh, but it makes it funnier. You know, because it's just like, oh my God, like why would you do that? And not to mention, I've always had like the comic gene in me, I guess. Which is kind of like a roundabout way of saying you have like the douchebag gene, because like if you have that thing in you where you're like, well, if I'm next, I have to address what just happened, then you're just being a douchebag.
Yeah,
you know, like
yeah,
it's like,
true.
no, man, I'm a comic. I have to do it. Like, no, you're just a douchebag.
I think about that all the time. I say things all the time, and I'm like, man, I am such a jerk. You know, like a normal person would not point out the things that we do.
That's the thing that I've noticed. There's a lot of things that I've noticed that are different about music and comedy. So many things are similar. There's a lot of things that are similar. However, the things that are different are the things that make me like music for what it is and comedy for what it is. Because, for example, if you do a song at an open mic, it's a lot more comfortable for you to do new things, because people are usually pretty open to you singing a song. And even if it's bad, they're probably going to like it.
Yeah.
You know? Now, here's the bad thing. You can play a bad song for 3 years and never realize it.
Okay.
Because people are just clapping because you're holding a guitar and singing.
Yeah.
So whereas if I tell a bad joke, I will know immediately that it doesn't work. You know?
That's so true. It's,
So that's like the good and the bad at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, comics hate when I say this, because I can see it just like breaks their little heart. But whenever people come up to me, and you probably hear it all the time, they're like, oh, I'm thinking about starting stand-up, right?
Yeah.
Like, as soon as people find out that you're a comic, they're like, oh, I think I'm going to do that or whatever.
Yeah.
Or I've done a couple open mics. And then you're like,
or I'm funny on Instagram.
Yeah,
or...
like, have you really done a couple open mics? Because I feel like there's nothing better. Nothing. Like, this beats the army for, like, breaking someone down and, like, crushing their, like, soul and their identity, that they think that they're funny or something that they're going to say is enlightening or going to entertain people, and it doesn't.
Man.
Then if they can build themselves back up from that, then I consider them
a comic.
Like a comic.
Yeah. Can I tell you something? There is nothing that makes me more upset than somebody who thinks that they're funny because they're good at Cards Against Humanity.
Oh,
it's
I haven't come across that, but I would hate that.
It's like one of the reasons why I hate that game.
Me too.
Because people are like, oh man, I'm so funny when I play that game, and it's like, oh, you're so funny when somebody who wrote the structure for jokes, and all you have to do is just place them in any order, and they're all funny.
Yeah,
you know?
I actually have a joke where I talk about how, you know, a party is bad when people bring out Cards Against Humanity, because then no one has a personality to, like, carry a conversation, you know? Like,
that's true. It's that, or they bring their pets to a store. You know, like I was telling you a couple of days ago.
Yeah, we talked.
Like, it's fine. It's fine if you bring your dog, because I understand that it's a dog, you know, and like you're not.
Or if it's quick, like you're just going in and then
exactly,
out.
Like you're not leaving. Like, don't leave your dog outside. You know what I mean? Like, fine, bring your dog inside. I get that.
Yeah.
I just mean like people that like wrap snakes around their hands.
Wait,
you know,
what?
or like people that like will put a parrot on their shoulder and walk into a UPS store thinking that they're cool, and it's like, I'm not going, like, in fact, I'm going to ignore the thing that's on you just to disrespect you.
Yeah.
Because I know that you came into the store thinking that I would be like, whoa, that's so cool. Oh my gosh, tell me all about this stupid thing that's around your stupid body. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care.
It's like a beard. Like, I feel like a lot of people, like guys who have beards, it's their personality, you know?
Some guys. Not all
like,
of them.
No, like, but like, I'm talking like a beard.
Yeah.
Where they want people to be like, oh, what beard oil do you use? Do you like comb it? Or where do you get, you know, what do you do? And it becomes them.
Yeah, exactly.
They're just a beard.
They're just a beard. They're the lady from Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah.
They're just beard, and she's just boobs.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
It's that, pretty much. So, do you want to tell the listeners the story about how we met?
Oh my gosh. Maybe you tell the story, and I will, like, jump in if I feel necessary. Because I feel like you won't be as harsh with how bad it was.
I don't think, okay, I'll set this up before you say anything, that I
don't have like a problem with drinking, but
oh my gosh.
but I
She did
used
that night.
to, yeah, I used to drink a lot, and it's something that I'm only recently being more aware of because I'm getting older and I'm seeing the effects on my body. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna say before you tell the story.
I wasn't really going to say anything bad. It's just, we met at a comedy show that's at this bar, and it was, were you showcasing, or were you just doing the open mic? I can't remember.
I was just in town, and there was a bunch of shows that I was doing, and that was one of them.
I can't remember if you were on the showcase or not, but we met because of that. And well, we met because we were in the same building, and the headliner was hanging out, and I was talking to him for a while, and then you were still inside, and then I went back inside, and you were, I don't really know the best way to describe it. Like, you were like happy, like you're like a very happy drunk, I guess.
Yeah.
Cause like I knew you were drunk, but it was just something where I was like, I mean, whatever, you know? So, and so you started talking to the both of us, and then you started talking to me. You know
what it is? It's whenever I'm in a new city and I'm alone, I always try to like make friends or get to like know people because what else am I going to do?
I don't remember a single thing that you said to me. I'll be honest. I don't remember a single thing. I just remember you saying at one point, you were like, I'm going to walk home. And I said, okay. And then I saw you walk, and
you're like, no, you're not going to walk home. You can't even.
As you were walking, you crashed into a bush. And I said, this girl's going to die unless I walk her home.
Yeah, you literally saved my life.
So
like, I would have probably just stayed in that bush.
So I picked you up. I didn't like pick you up, but like I helped you up. And I was like, hey, let me walk you home, you know, because I feel bad. I don't really remember exactly what I said. I phrased it in a way where I was like, I played dumb, essentially. Like, I was like, I just want to make sure you get home safe. Like, it was something like that, as opposed to like, hey, you're drunk and like, I'm going to take you home or else you're going to die. Like, it wasn't that, you know, even though that's 100%
really
what I was thinking.
Yeah, it was really bad.
But I was like, hey, I just want to make sure you get home safe and things like that, which technically is why I did it anyway, but it was just the nicest way that I could say it. So we walked over to where you were staying, and then...
Oh, no.
Do you remember this?
Yes. Because it was probably the most embarrassing thing that
it's not
has
super embarrassing.
ever happened to me. But tell it.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Holy cow. That's, you know, I'm glad that I'm a part of this then. So we get to the apartment, and she gets her key out, and she is shaking like you would have thought she was Michael J. Fox without taking medication. and by the way, listener, calm down. Back to the Future is my favorite movie. I love Michael J. Fox. Calm down. So she's shaking, and she can't open the door. And so she's like, I can't open the door. And of course, in my head, I'm like, she's drunk. There's a huge possibility that we're just in the wrong apartment.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I remember this.
And you
I don't
were
know
like...
how I remember this either, because I was like basically black. I was probably in and out of being blackout drunk.
Maybe. You were like, no, you have to like shimmy the key a certain way. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. So we try it. It doesn't work. And I'm like, all right, let me see if I can go downstairs and maybe the security can help me. I went downstairs. The guy in the security outfit couldn't help me because turns out he works there, but he's just like, yeah, but I just don't feel like it. So I was like, great, thanks, man. And so I went back upstairs, and I was like, hey, so the security guy, he says he works here, but he doesn't care. And so what do we do? And you were like, we just got to try again. And so I tried again. And then,
That sounds very much like me.
and I was like, all right. And then I was like, you know what? Maybe I was wrong with the security guy. Let me just double check that he doesn't care. And so I went downstairs and I was like, hey, remember that thing where you said you didn't care? How do you feel now? And he's like, yeah, I still don't care. And I was like, all right, man. Well, I'll just go upstairs then. And so I just went upstairs. And then about that time is when you started throwing up.
Yeah, I puked like everywhere, like on the door, on the ground. And this was like a nice place.
Mm-hmm.
And I just vomited.
Mm-hmm. Thankfully, nowhere around me.
Yeah, but I felt so bad. Like, that's why it was so embarrassing because, at least for me, if someone vomits around me, because my girlfriends too, like, they'll get drunk and I hold their hair or whatever. But I when I smell it, I start like throwing up. Like,
Yeah.
I get nauseous really easily.
Sure.
So I was like, oh no.
No, I just wanted you to be okay.
I've never just like that, like just puked on a door.
But I'm glad that you did, though, because I don't know if you remember this. What happened, like, right after you puked all over the door, that must have been the magic combination that opened the freaking door.
Yeah. I had to vomit out the poison for me to just, like, have enough to be able to open a door.
It's like the door was like, all right already.
Yeah.
You know? Like, and so it opened, and you were like, thank God. And I was like, all right, well.
This is like the first impression you had of me, too.
I was like, all right, well. And so we walk in, and then you're like, hey, I have to go use the restroom or whatever. If you want to get something, you can get something. And I was like, okay, fine. And so I just sat on your couch, and I just waited for you to like be
Not
done.
die.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just wanted you to be okay. And you came out of your bathroom on all fours.
Oh, no, I don't remember that.
You remember this?
No, I don't remember that, so tell me.
You came out of the bathroom on all fours. Right? And you said, I think this is funny.
Oh, no.
You're probably not going to think it's funny.
Oh,
But I was like, hey, do you need help getting into bed?
Yeah.
And you reacted like in such a way, like you were like, what? You reacted in the weirdest way. I was like, because you're on all fours, like it just looks like you're not okay.
Yeah.
Like, do you need help? You know,
Yeah.
like,
Oh my God, I don't remember that, but that's so funny.
yeah.
And then yeah, the next day you were like, "Hey, are you like alive? Like, are you okay?" I don't remember how.
Did I say that? I don't remember.
Well,
if
I don't
said that.
remember how we reconnected after
Me
that
neither.
because we didn't like swap numbers or anything at that point. We probably were at the same show. Like, you know, there must have been another show where we ran into. But I do remember talking to you afterwards and saying like, "You saved my life last night." Like I would have just been in the bush and who knows like what would happen. Just, you know, convulsing my own vomit in a bush. Like,
yeah. What was super funny was, and I told you this a couple days ago, what was super funny was the next time I saw you was at another bar, ironically, and you came in and I knew something was different about you because you came in. You usually know that women have had like an epiphany about something because the next time you see them, they're wearing glasses, you know? And she was wearing glasses and her hair was up and she was just like, I have seen the light and I'm not drinking like that anymore. So we started talking and that's like what started this whole friendship, I think.
that's how we met. And
so it all started because
you
I'm a good Samaritan.
Yeah, seriously. God, I'm never going to forget that. Insanity. I think I was honestly embarrassed and I felt really bad for you. And that's why I was like, I can't.
I felt bad for me too.
Yeah. I'm like, I can't do this to like another person again. Like, it's horrible. And I also can't, I shouldn't be doing that to my own body.
Yeah, that's also important as well. In fact, recently you had this whole thing with your kidneys.
Yeah, I had a bladder and kidney infection.
Yeah.
Which is really weird because I think normally how you get bladder infections are through like UTIs and stuff like that. Yeah. But I didn't have any of those symptoms. it just right away, my kidney just randomly one day started hurting so badly. And I didn't know it was my kidney. I just thought, oh, my back really hurts, but it's not really my back. It's like under my ribs. And it just got worse and worse and worse until finally I had to rush to the hospital because the pain was just so bad.
Yeah.
And they did all the blood tests, gave me IV, a bunch of painkillers and antibiotics and blah, blah, blah. They tested everything. And the results like came back. I was just in the hospital for hours. They said, yeah, you have an infection and it's reached your kidneys. It's good that you came in because this could lead to sepsis and then multiple organ failure, you know? Yeah. And so that again, it was like a wake up call where I was like, I wonder if it's related to my drinking. Probably not because it's kidneys and bladder, but still, you know, I'm reducing sort of all of anything that would contribute to weakening like my organs.
Of course.
But organ pain, man, that I don't wish that upon anyone. I'm very shocked that kidneys hurt that much when they're under attack or inflamed or whatever was going on. Like it was bad. I couldn't, the whole left side of it was my left flank that hurt. I'm sure both were infected, but apparently with kidney infections, one of them takes on the majority of the pain because your body's like trying to save the other one. But my whole left side, I couldn't lift my leg. I couldn't bend over. Like it was bad.
It's crazy.
It opens you up your eyes, you know, with like how delicate you really are.
Yeah, of course. That's crazy. Well, I'm glad that you're okay, and I'm glad that you're here.
Thank you. I might not be here next year after this story and like all this. Who knows what shenanigans I'll get into.
Oh, no. All right. Well, where can people find you, Sarah?
Every day I try to post a joke on Twitter. So I'm at Sara Wren Comedy. I'm not as active on Instagram. Sometimes I try to do stories and stuff. But it's the same handle. So Sara Wren Comedy. That's me. I'm for everything, for all social media.
Yeah, and you also have a new show.
Yes,
right?
I do. I have a new show, and I'm doing it with my best friend, my other best friend, that I'm really excited about. It's called Night Whine, and it's kind of like a news show because we talk about recent things that are happening in the news, sometimes specifically with Canada.
Yeah.
But then we go into I want it to be like casual. The whole idea for the show is I want you to feel like you're in my living room or we're cracking a drink together and we're chatting and we're spending time together. So that's every Wednesday at 9:30 Eastern that we're doing that. And it's new.
That's awesome. You can find me on Instagram at Mike Valdes, on Twitter at I am Mike Valdes. You can go to whoismikevaldes.com to find out the answer to that question. And you can subscribe and tell all of your friends about Childlike at Best with Mike Valdes. We need more people to listen. Let's grow this family. That's it. This has been an episode. Thank you guys. See you later. Bye, besties.